This is the Brett Mason Show. Hey, hey, hey! My name is Brett. This is my show. This is my show.
Hey, happy Monday. Welcome into another exciting podcast. Brett Mason, glad to have you with me. Thank you so much. I like to begin each show by asking you to please, if you even like 1 second of the podcast, share it. Share it on your Facebook page. Facebook has begun this thing where nobody sees stuff that you post if you have a fan page. Now, if you just have a regular profile, just a regular I'm a person profile, and I have one of those, you don't really see that, and you're not really penalized. But if you have a fan page or a business page, for instance, I have another fan page. It's not my personal one, but another one that I do business on. I have 70,000 fans of that page, 70,000, and I'll make posts on there. Sometimes 200 people will see the post. And I paid for those fans too with advertising. And so Facebook they really penalize you for having fans or for being a business or anything like that. So if you enjoy this or just want to do old Brett Mason a favor, hit the share button and share it, and I'll forever be in your debt. And I must thank real quickly Toyota Dothan, Courtney, and the folks over there for being the sponsor of the show. There's a banner on the page where the show is located. You can check it out. I'd appreciate that. That'd just be awesome as well. Hey, later in the week, Bud and Broadway, who, I was partners with Jerry Broadway for a couple of years here in Dothan on the morning show. He was here forever, and then got to work with him and Bud for a little while up there at another station in town. They're big time out in Tulsa, Oklahoma now. They've just gone big time. I'm very honored. They're going to be on the show later this week, so that's exciting. If you have a question that you'd like me to ask them, any question, just send me a message on my Facebook page and send me a note or something, and whatever, we'll try to. Or you can comment on the post that you saw this podcast on, and I'll try to ask those questions for you. And the last thing is if you think you would be a good guest for the show, if you got an interesting story, you have a cause, you have something you'd like to spread, whatever, send me a message and we'll talk about it. I'm not guarantee I'll put you on the show or the person you're talking about on the show, but I might, because I really want to take the show in the direction of interviews. I just want to do interviews on the show. Speaking of interviews, I'm very happy today, man. She and I started working in radio way back in the early 2000s. We worked together. She was actually in sales at that time. She was actually the number one seller, which ironically enough is, I think, the reason they fired her. But that's a whole nother story. She left and started her own morning show, wound up competing with my morning show, and boy, did they give us a run for our money over there, and then they wound up beating us a little bit. And then way on later down in life, we actually did a little a joint venture together doing some internet radio for nearly a year, which was a lot of fun. And she's just a fantastic person. She's done TV, pretty much whatever she puts the mind to, she can do. And I'm very honored that she's decided to spend a few minutes with me today. My good friend is Amie Pollard on the show today. How you doing? What's up with you, girl?
Trying to get some work done. What are you doing?
I hate work.
If you ask my husband, he says it ain't work that I do. But if it ain't work, I don't know what you call it, because it ain't fun.
You're all about some cows now. You're always posting pictures of the cows. I saw where you had, where Aaron, I guess he's not a big fan of the cows giving birth, huh?
Oh my God, that was one of those priceless moments. Yeah, I for sure have become a cow farmer. Like every mama cow we had was pregnant, and they've all given birth. Well, sometimes when you have a cow this might be her first calf, or maybe just her second calf. Sometimes they have a little bit of trouble. Well, this particular cow had a calf that was like Hulk size, and
right.
She had a really hard time. Anyway, long story short, the calf was born stillborn because he was born breech and everything.
Right.
So what happened was she still has some afterbirth, and you have to, when you become a cow farmer, you learn how to deal with all this stuff. So naturally, you got to load them up, and you got to take them to the vet, and the vet puts on one of those long plastic gloves that go over the shoulder and over the head, and then they put them in the catch shoot thing, and then they reach up in there, and they waller around with their arms, and they come out with whatever stuff happens to be still up in there.
Right.
And that stuff that happened to still be up in there had been there for like 2 or 3 days.
Ooh.
So the look on my son's face, his visit home from the University of Alabama was a reality check for him that he really does need to get that degree.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that in Tuscaloosa.
No, you don't. I mean, he puts his hand usually on a girl's rear end when he's doing the cheerleading thing, but it ain't got nothing to do with afterbirth.
I tell you, it's funny about, it's been a couple of weeks now. Somebody sent me a message and said, because, Facebook made me change. I had, what Facebook's like.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Somebody reported me as doing business, said I was doing business on my profile page. So Facebook says, look, you got 2 options. You can convert your profile page over to a business page, or we're just going to delete it. So I had to convert my personal page over to profile page. And once I did that, nobody sees my posts anymore. Nobody sees them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't know what's going on with me. And I get questions about me, and I also get questions about you. They're like, hey, what's Amie doing? We haven't heard from Amie in a while. And I'm like, well, she's got 15 pages. You just need to go add one of them. But it's the same kind of thing.
Not on to me yet, or apparently I'm just not as popular as you are, so they don't give a dang what I'm doing.
I tell you what I told them was, I said, from what I can tell from Amie's Instagram and her Facebook pages, I think she's clinging really tightly to her kids right now because she's realized they're becoming adults is what it looks like Amie's doing a lot of.
You have no idea. You have no idea. First, we're gonna address the Facebook thing because I'm just going to go out there and start posting to all my friends where you are, because I even freaked out for a minute because I was like, where has Brett gone? Because that's my boy. That's my friend. And I'm like, what's going on with him? And I had no idea what was going on with you. So, if I didn't know, there's a lot of folks that don't know. So we're just going to have to let me use my 15 pages to let folks know where you are.
I had one of my lifelong friends since elementary school who sent me an email and said, why did you unfriend me on Facebook? What did I do to deserve it? Because people take it personally when they think you unfriended them.
You don't unfriend. Look, I take it personal, too. I might have 5,000 friends, but every one of them means something to me.
Yeah.
And listen, who are they to tell me that I can only have 5,000 friends?
I know.
I've always had a problem with that. That's what made me create other pages. I think Facebook is kind of not really the cool thing anymore.
If I didn't use Facebook for business now, which I do, but look, I pay them. Ain't none of it free no more. I spend about between $100 and $200 a day with Facebook. That's the only way to do business with them.
$100 a day?
Yeah, I think I spent about $200 yesterday. It averaged between $100 and $200, but you got to spend money to make money. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't even have a Facebook page anymore. I do Instagram and I do Twitter probably. That'd be about it.
Yeah. We need to create something else.
Yeah.
It's time for a new Facebook, a new something. Okay, so I don't know if you know this or not. I'm a really, really proud mama.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think you might know it.
Yeah, I could tell.
Okay, so my son just finished his last season as a University of Alabama cheerleader. So this year I'm going to already be going through some major withdrawals because I won't see him on the sidelines now. And
I know.
he's actually, going to graduate in December. And
wow.
I mean, really, where did 5 years go? For real.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And then my daughter is tomorrow, she actually graduates high school. Thank the good Lord above, she's decided that she wants to stay home. She doesn't want to go off and, do the far away from mom and dad thing. She's got a lot of common sense. She wants to stay home where her bills can be paid.
Yeah, your heart is happy about that, and your wallet is happy about that, ain't it?
Absolutely. And, to even say it's cool, too, because she actually got a softball scholarship.
I tell you, that girl's talented. I follow y'all, man. I know what y'all doing, even though I don't hardly ever see you. Because I know she's excellent at the weightlifting. She's excellent at the volleyball. She's excellent at the softball. I mean, that girl's just something else.
She's an athlete, that's for sure. 2 years in a row, actually, the 2A state weightlifting champion. Her heart is in softball, so she got a scholarship to Wallace College. She's going to be staying home and actually playing ball. She's going to get to play fall ball and spring ball. So you'll have to come to a game, Brett. She'd love for you to come.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. And she's so, I mean, they're just so grown. I know it's got to be killing you because they're just so grown now. It's like, I remember when Ansley was she was just the little bitliest thing ever.
She was like in Little Miss Wicksburg.
I know.
She was like 6.
I know.
And I'm just telling you, it's ridiculous, the emotions that you go through as a mom. Like, you're proud, and then you're sad, and then you're happy, and you're depressed. And it's like, no wonder women at my age have to, like, be on freaking hormones and take shots, and husbands, like, want to divorce their wives. Because as a mother, you're feeling so many emotions, and it's just like, there's no stability there.
Yeah.
And I mean that as serious as I can be about it. But let me tell you what happens when they go to college and they're gone for 5 years and they come home where they don't want to get out of bed till like noon. And here you are, you've already done, a 3/4 day work by the time they're just rolling out of bed
right.
with a nap on their head and the crust in their eyes. And, and I don't know what it is, but it literally turns into a thing where you cannot live in the same house with them.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd hear myself say that. They've got their way of thinking. And, of course, you're dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, you are the most ignorant human being on the planet. You
don't know nothing.
No, I don't know a damn thing. I don't even know how I've survived this long. At this point, really, I thought, okay, so when they say they leave and they come back and they bring more with them, it is not a lie, people. It is not a lie. They bring more with them. And then those do the same things they do. Sleep till noon and then stay up till the crack of dawn. How do kids transition? Like, there has to be a way that's less painful to watch them transition from that college life to going to work. Because I'm telling you, my son, he does not have a clue what it takes to get up at 6:30 in the morning and go to a job and work 8 hours and come home and like the real life.
Right.
Because I don't care what they say, college life is not the real life. That's not. That's party life.
So what does he want to do? What's he want to do with his life?
He wants to come home and open his own gym. He makes $75 an hour doing his private lessons and things like that.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to take a degree and really compete with the kind of money that he can make owning his own business at this point.
I think that's great, though, that y'all are encouraging him to pursue it instead of trying to go out and get a job to maybe try to pursue his own thing. Because in the long run, he'll definitely make more money. But in the short run, he'll learn business skills and he'll learn money management skills. You just got to teach him how to wake up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, which, and I don't know how in the heck you do that because he doesn't even know what that time of day looks like. One of those, have you seen one of them, it's an alarm in the bouncy ball thing?
Oh, God, yeah.
Can you imagine when you finally catch that ball, what the hell happens to it?
Yeah, I think it would last one day. It'd be good for one day.
Oh, my God. You know what? Really and truly, when he went to college, I went and got one of those old-timey metal ones that goes real fast with the bell on the top. Yeah, it didn't last long.
Yeah, because they quit doing it. Those things would wake me up, but like you say, the problem is the bell thing doesn't go for very long. It only goes for like 30 seconds. You just got to wait it out.
Well, my thing is when one of those wake me up, and we both come from the radio world where, if you get up and you do mornings, you really don't want to start your day in a bad mood because sometimes it translates on the air or whatever you have to get to deal with people. So you want to wake up in a good mood. But when those things go off, you're like, and when you finally do get it off, somebody turns around and says, good morning. You're like, what?
Yeah, shut up. What's good about it?
Look at me. It's one of those bad mornings right off the bat. But you know what, Brett? Do you miss being in radio?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. I honestly don't. I did for a long time. I really don't miss it anymore. I really don't.
I have to say that it's crazy, but I don't miss the corporate part of being in radio because, oh, my God, when you can work for yourself, which you can attest to this, like your life, your quality of life, I feel like is so much better just because You know, like you say, I cling to my children, the things that I missed all those years being in corporate radio.
Yeah.
I've been able to make up a lot of that time, you know, as far as being with them through the college years and through Ainsley's high school years and things like that. But for the entertainment part of it and the interaction with the public, I miss that.
Yeah, there's parts of radio I miss, but I don't miss radio. I miss, I'll tell you what I miss. I miss fundraising. I miss helping people because you
That's
just
right.
don't, you don't have that. Like you can still help people, and I do. You'll see somebody and you'll help them out when you
Right.
can. But it's just not, it's, you know, it's so much bigger. You have such a bigger audience, and it's not it's not just the helping people. It's seeing everybody else chip in to help people. And to get to be a part of all of that, radio is really the only thing that does that. So I miss that, and I miss, you know, talking to people, and I miss having fun, obviously laughing and joking.
Yeah.
And hanging out with
Yeah.
people that you enjoy hanging out with. You know, I loved hanging out with you. You're one of my favorite people ever. My other partners I liked hanging out with them. So you build,
Right.
you know, when you go from starting your day across the desk from somebody every morning to you don't do that anymore, you miss that. But radio in
Absolutely.
radio in general, I don't miss too much. And I definitely don't miss the money. I mean, I made more money last month than I could make in 6 months in radio. So
You know, I don't think people comprehend that or really understood that a radio DJ like makes they're close to poverty level.
Yeah, it's
a lot
bad.
of people don't understand that the reason you do radio is because you love it and you
Yeah.
have a passion for it. And, you know, it's one of those things that's hard to get out of once you get in it, but it's definitely not for the money. And once you do get out of it, you're able to kind of look back into it and go, wow. And I thought I was making decent money, or I thought, you know, really you're not.
It's like you said earlier, though, when you're in it, you don't even think about the money. Like I always tried to get raises and stuff, and sometimes I'd be successful, not very often. But you don't ever really think about the money. Mainly, you're too busy working and figuring out what you're going to do tomorrow, and you're always meeting or remoting or meeting people or planning and scheming.
Right.
Radio is one of those jobs that it turns off when you finally fall asleep, and as soon as you wake up, you're back in radio again. So you never get a break
That's
from
right.
it. Never have time to realize how broke you are.
Until you try to go and pay those bills.
Right.
But you know what? I have people ask me all the time. Still, it's been 4 years since you and I did our
It's been a while.
internet radio together.
It's been a while.
And
yeah.
people ask all the time, "Are you ever going to get back in radio?"
I would get back in it, but I would own the radio station. So you see how likely that is to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
I was talking to a buddy of mine who, he actually used to be the general manager of the last station I worked at before they ran him out of town too. And, you know, he knows some people with money, and I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, man, I might need you to call a meeting or something and see if we can't put together a consortium to buy some radio stations, because I would do it under those circumstances.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean, if we owned the radio station, then it'd be a totally different thing, you know. But, you know,
Absolutely.
corporate radio is just an ugly thing, though. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And they take a lot of the personal side away from it. It's not just for the people that work for corporate radio, but for the listeners. I do believe that there's a lot of things that they miss out on when a corporate company owns, because they really don't care about the local side of things as much as they should sometimes. So, you know, hey, let's buy a radio station and do what we do, Brett. What do you say? Let's go find some investors and have fun again.
Yeah, if you're a person that has more money than you know what to do with, just message me or Amy on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Hey, we could always go on Shark Tank and see if they wouldn't help us.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
I love watching that show.
I have like 2 shows that I watch, and if I can keep up with them, Blacklist, I love Blacklist, which is not a reality show, and I love Nashville. That's my 2 shows.
See, and I watch neither of those.
Yeah.
Neither of those, which is crazy. I should watch Nashville, but I never did. I didn't start from the beginning. And the Walking Dead thing, don't you do that?
I do, but you know, their season, that's stupid what A&E does. Their season is like 7 or 8 episodes instead of, you know, a full season.
Yeah.
A full season should be 21 or 23 episodes. They do like 8. So
yeah, that is kind of crazy.
It's not that big of an investment. If you can stick it out for 8 weeks, then you get 16 weeks off. So
I didn't start getting into it till right at the end, and I still really don't understand it. It's the craziest mess I've ever seen in my life. And the people are fanatical about it.
Yeah, I didn't start it till season 3. I thought everybody was stupid. I'm like, why is everybody so crazy about a zombie show? But once you start watching it, it's not about the zombies. It's about the people and their relationships. That's what makes it fascinating to me. Of course, the zombies are cool, but it's really fun. Yeah. But I went back. I did the Netflix binge. I mean, do you ever do the Netflix binge? That's how I got caught up.
Okay, so for real, you know how I always had to get you to do all my technology stuff, and I still do if I need anything major. No, I don't know how to do Netflix. I don't even know how to work it.
Well, look, you're better off for it because you'll get caught up in it and you won't even realize it. Like when I finally decided to watch Walking Dead as an example, I'm like, well, I got to get caught up. So in one weekend, I watched an entire season of Walking Dead. So that was like 3 hours one night, 3 or 4 hours the next night, and 3 or 4 hours the next night.
Wow. Lord have mercy. So, how's your mama and them?
She's doing good, actually, my mom. We make lots of trips to Birmingham. Every 2 weeks we go to Birmingham. I know Birmingham like the back of my hand now. Well,
that's one of those things, like, we still have to be blessed that we got our mama. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can't complain. I mean, my mom, she's in a very, she's in a bad place in life, but she's done very well with it. And my mom has the best attitude. Let me tell you, this is a perfect example. We were up there last time, and our last 5 or 6 visits up there, she hasn't got in the chemo chair or the treatment chair until 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 hours till after her appointment.
Oh, wow.
Mom, don't stress out about it. She's just got the best attitude. She goes, well, I know they're busy and we don't have nothing else to do. It's like,
so precious.
And I'm sitting there wanting to choke people. But
you got to keep your cool so that Mama keeps her cool. Because as long as you're okay, she's okay.
Well, when my mom, who's going through all she's going through, can be good about it, what's my excuse? You know, that's the way I look at it. There's been upsides to what my mom's going through. One, we've got a lot closer. We talk a lot more. But two, I just realized not to complain about anything anymore because I don't have squat to complain about when you think about it.
That's true. That's true. Our problems are not really even problems when you look at some of the things other people are facing, you know?
So let me ask you this, because people want to know what you're doing. I know you were pursuing TV stuff pretty heavily for a while, and then I know I talked to you because it seems like those people are impossible. I know you kept getting, one of the things you kept going through is you'd get established with somebody and then they'd get fired and you'd have to start with somebody new.
Yes.
Which just restarts everything. It seems like a frustrating business. Are you still pursuing that or have you finally said to heck with people in Hollywood?
No, honestly, Brett, to tell you the truth, there's just something down in my soul that I don't think will ever be satisfied until I do have my own show one day.
Yeah.
And, I believe that everything is in God's timing, not in ours. And no matter how bad I want it, I just kind of wait. And when the opportunities come to me or they're right, I do pursue them. But, that last venture that I had, where I signed contracts with the network and everything, that was a 3-year project. And basically it was for Lifetime TV. And, it was a green-lit project. It was good to go. And the head of the network left and a new president came in, and basically he liked the show. He liked everything. He just wanted it done in a different way, whatever it had to be his baby, so we had to redo everything, and we redid everything. And then when it was all said and done, it just didn't go to air. And, I see that as God leading me in a whole different direction. There might not have been a reason that wasn't what he wanted for me at that time, Right now, the last filming we did was in October of last year with a British family. If you followed me on Facebook, you knew that we did some of that. That was actually for air in Europe.
Right.
Other than that, I'm just kind of waiting for the right thing to come along at the right time. Ron and I, have our own construction company. We just started a subdivision in Wicksburg, which he's been building houses for a long time, but this is, we've built one or two here and there, but this is actually a 42 home subdivision. So
wow.
That's kind of, it's really cool. It's something new for us, and we've got our first 4 houses completed. Ainsley graduates tomorrow, so I think I'm going to have an opportunity to kind of focus a little more on me once this all, we get her in college and get her going. And when I make up my mind to do something, I'm pretty hard to convince otherwise. If I don't get too old, because, when you get like 60, they don't really like old geezers for things like that. But then you look at Barbara Walters and look at one of my favorites, Betty White.
Oh, God, she's so great. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she is like, I want to be just like her. Yeah. Like, she's amazing to me. I love that woman.
I've been asked this in a while, but in the past I have been asked, what you think about that Amie Pollard? And so I usually always tell people the same way. I'm like, Amie's funny. Obviously, she's passionate. Obviously, she's very talented. But her greatest quality is she's tenacious. She just don't quit. Because I know you've been so close, and it's never been your fault. It's kind of like you get things going, and they're smooth, and then they fire the program director and bring in a new one. And even though everything is going fine, he just wants to put his fingerprint on everything. So you got to change everything.
And that is what has happened every single time with every show that I've had, every opportunity that I've had. That is hard to swallow sometimes because I have been so close so many times, actually signed contract deals with the networks, and something falls through. And the only thing that really keeps me sane about that is just knowing that I feel like God has a better plan for me. And I just have to keep waiting for whatever that is. And sometimes it's hard not to let it get you down and for you not to give up, and just say, you know what, forget it. And ultimately, we have to have a goal. As human beings, we have to have a goal. We have to have a desire. Otherwise, you're just aimlessly wandering through the days. And life is about a journey. And, everything doesn't go perfect throughout that journey. But when it's all said and done, everything you did trying to reach those goals and those dreams and those desires is your journey. So you got to keep moving. You got to keep working towards it.
Wow. We're not doing any more interview. We're ending it on that. That's some of the best stuff I've ever heard. We're done. We're finished.
Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Yeah. That's really true, though. It really is true. You got to pursue something. You got to hang on to it, and ups and downs along the way, but you just keep going. Somebody asked me one time what the key to happiness is, and I told them I think the key to happiness is always having something to look forward to.
That's what life is about, is traveling through and working for those things that your heart desires, and, trying to be happy while you're doing it. And if you're not doing that, if you have nothing to strive for, then your life is pretty much, it's just void. So we all have to work towards something. I don't care how big or how small it is. It doesn't have to be reality. It can be owning your own home. It can be working for yourself. It can be having children and being a stay-at-home mom, if that's what makes you happy. But you always have to work towards those goals.
Amie, thank you for spending 30 minutes on the phone with me this morning, and I'm going to be thinking about you because I know starting tomorrow you're going to be losing a piece of your heart. You're probably going to cry half the day, and then you're going to be proud half the day, and when your little girl graduates, moves on to the next chapter. I've known you for a long time, and your life is always interesting, from removing afterbirth from cows to dealing with people in Hollywood. I mean, whose life is that? Who has that for a life?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Thanks for being on the show today. It was awesome. And yeah, of course, you can be on the show anytime you want to be on the show. You just let me know. And if you haven't hooked up with Amie, she's on the Instagram. She's on the Twitter. She has 47 Facebook pages. You just
Hey, and maybe if I just keep coming on with you, I'll get really popular.
I don't think I'd bank my hopes and dreams on being on this show. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Well, I love you, and it's always good talking to you. And you know what? Maybe one day we'll have a show again.
Love you too, girl. Thanks for being on. We'll have you back on soon.
This is the Brett Mason Show. Hey, hey, hey. My name is Brett. This is my show. This is my show. Hey, hey, hey!